Welcome, welcome, everybody, and welcome to Change by Choice. Today is a super special day. I've got the amazing Anna Renderer with us to share a lot about her journey, the trials, the triumphs, the obstacles, so that we get a really amazing, accurate view of what does it mean to get to a place that's successful? What does it mean to achieve our goals? What does it actually look like? And that's really the whole point of why I'm doing the interview process, is to highlight amazing stories, but not just the shiny ending of it, but really what does it actually look like to go through it? Because many of us, we're not born to just like win and be successful. We have to learn it. It's a mindset. And it takes a whole lot of failing, getting up, trying again, that perseverance piece that is just, I don't think it's talked about enough. You know what I mean? So that's the whole point of why we are here today. And so I want to welcome the wonderful Anna Renderer.
Thank you, Charlotte. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Most of us started watching Anna as the host of POPSUGAR Fitness, where she literally motivates over 1 million people on YouTube, through YouTube subscribers, to stay fit, to be well. I don't know about you guys, but that's really how I started watching Anna, and just seeing her like great personality and just how she motivated me. And it just, yeah. Really, there's no difference when I met Anna in person. I'm just like, you are exactly how you are.
Good.
It's awesome. So now Anna's built out her own brand, and it's called The Sexy Confident Life. So she's motivating women to really develop that self-love, that self-care, and that empowerment. So really going to her heart of her passion and how she's taking everything that she's learned and really moving it forward for herself through her own brand. Anna is also an amazing high-performance coach, and she has built a super successful Beachbody business as well. So the rest of her journey, we're going to get through all the questions, but welcome, Anna.
Thank you. I sound so cool on paper.
I know. You are pretty cool. Cool. So I want you to go back to when you were a child, and just paint a picture for us as to what it was like for you. Were you somebody that was, straight A student, super confident, just everything set up so that like anybody who would look at you would be like, oh, she's going to be successful. Like that's just how it's going to be.
I love this. I like going back in time and thinking about my childhood. I had a very exciting life as a young kid because I was one of 6 kids.
Wow.
And we actually took probably 3 cross-country trips with my entire family, all 6 kids and my parents in 2 cars with our entire house. Everything that we owned came with us, at least 3 trips from Washington State to Massachusetts because my parents were from different coasts. So, it was really fun because we camp a lot, lots of family time. Because, when you're one of 6 kids and you're not very wealthy, you camp and you do the things that are not expensive but require you to engage with each other, which is cool. And I find that that's a foundation of my life that I'm really blessed to have had, helping my brother do a Vanilla Ice concert when he was a kid and just, riding bikes around the neighborhood. I was a total tomboy. I had 4 brothers and a sister, thank God. And so I would say that up until a point when I was about 10 is when things kind of hit the fan in my family. We had ended up in Massachusetts, and my parents finally kind of they blew the roof on their relationship. I don't know how long they didn't get along because it was never apparent to us as kids. We didn't really know what their relationship was like, and I can't even recollect their relationship at all. But when they got divorced, it changed everything. It was, we went into a lot of poverty at that point. My dad was not a successful guy. He was an artist and musician who didn't make any money. And when he left my mom, he couldn't give us anything to help support us. And my mom went back to school, and we went, on supported welfare, and you just name it. We started to struggle. That's when I realized that, kind of kicked me in the butt thinking, things don't really matter to me other than I struggled with feeling ashamed of where I lived, what car we drove, what people would think about me, how people would respond if they saw my home or something like that. And it instilled this real shame that I tried to hide my reality with people. And on the outside, I was, very outgoing and positive person. But on the inside, I felt embarrassed and ashamed. And I really wanted people I wanted to avoid being judged for what I had. I wanted to be judged for who I was. And I think that turning point in my life when I was a kid and we went through all these times of struggle and we were going without, and you're a part of a big family, so all your siblings are going through something. And I wasn't alone. I was with them through this journey, but I was alone because it was my own journey at that point. And how I was going to deal with it is how I was going to come out of it. And so I went through a lot there. And I think, it built a lot of character in who I became as a young adult, because I learned a lot at a very young age about myself, about the world, about what it takes to be a survivor, to be a team player. And those things instilled a lot of character. So that's kind of, I guess, a short summary of my upbringing, my childhood. There's a lot there.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing with us.
Of course.
Yeah. You brought up a few words like the word, shame and avoidance, and you could have gone the other way. You know what I mean? Like I think about people and when they have, like those defining changing moments that happen in their life, and you can either go this way and take it as like, no, I now know what I don't want. I know now what I want my life to look like and how I need to move forward. But you could have easily gone the other way and been jaded and, maybe self-destructed at that point. And what do you think it was for you that, like, was it something that you had to coach yourself on, that you had to find like that strength and that power to push through? Or was it something that came naturally to you? Or was it like, no, I need to take care of my siblings and like, this is how we need to go? Where do you think you were in that shift?
When you're young, I feel like a lot of what you do and the choices you make stem from your parents and also just your surrounding environment. I grew up in a small town, where everybody knew everybody. So I had a lot of good friends. And I wanted to have a lot of good friends. I really wanted to be friends with everybody. I never wanted to judge anyone or be mean to anyone. My mom always taught me this one golden rule: treat others the way you want them to treat you. You're no better than anyone else, and that lesson still lives with me today. I'm classic. You ask any of my friends growing up, Anna wants to be friends with everybody. And it's because I really did. I really feel like we have this oneness as people, and it's really important to come together and treat each other with respect and kindness and learn from each other. And I think I learned that a lot from my mom, and I learned that you have to work hard no matter what situation you're in. I had friends that had very wealthy parents who worked really hard. And I looked at that as an example of what I want to do to build success. I looked at my mom, who was working really hard, making no money, taking care of a family, going to school, living off the government for a while. And I was like, that is how hard you have to work to survive and to deal with hardship. So it instilled character in me where I said, I want to achieve a certain level of happiness and success in my life. And I know it takes work. I know it takes, it takes commitment. So I think that was instilled in me. And yeah, I was the oldest daughter of these siblings. So I was kind of like the mini mom.
Yeah.
I took that role. I really wanted to help my mom. I really wanted to be there for her. And I looked up to her a lot. And I think that's a reason I didn't go in the direction my brothers did. They did start getting in trouble. They started, just doing the things to survive as a boy. They're not emotional as much as they are emotional. They didn't know how to express it, and so they went in a different direction, and I definitely didn't want to go in that direction. It only looked harder to survive. If you got in trouble, if then you had to go to court, and then you had house arrest, and then your mom's going to the courthouse. And I just remember all that stuff being like, no, that's not the route. That's not the way to go, you know? So, and you know what it is too. And if I could just say really quickly that I feel like a lot of people, if they don't go through it at a young age, they go through it at an older age. But there's this thing of survival, having a survival mentality. And that's when failure isn't an option. There's like no plan B. And in my whole entire life, my journey from, you know, when my parents got divorced, and then it was just this like, boom, what are you going to do? How are you going to make money? How are you going to survive? How are you going to, you know, grow and get out of this town and make a life for yourself? It was always like, there's no backup plan. There's no plan B. If you fail, there's no one to pick you up. There's nobody there that's going to say, oh, here's some money, or here's a place to like live or whatnot. It was like, live with your mom, or you don't have anywhere else to go. And I didn't want to live with my mom forever. So my backup plan wasn't there. And I think that when you don't have a backup plan, failure is no longer an option. And you decide that you're going to work harder than ever to achieve what you want. And if we all worked in that mindset a little bit more, I feel like a lot more of us would be successful when we don't think like, oh, worst case, I could always do this, you know? And I feel like that sometimes gives us an easy out.
100%. I love that, the survival mentality. And I feel like, I mean, you kind of said it, but it's probably one of those learnings that you've used as a strength now to help you push through any type of adversity that's come your way. And definitely for anyone that's listening, like, write that down. Like, are you living life with this backup plan, or not fully 2 feet in, just like maybe 1 foot in, 1 foot out, just waiting that maybe you're going to fail. So you know what I mean? Can't risk it and put yourself in there. Or is it that, you know, is it a belief that you're missing within yourself, you know, because it does. Any type of success takes a lot of risk. And I always like lean on, you know, anything worth having, you know, it looks like hard work. It's not easy. You know, but when it's worth having, it feels good. So you're able to do the work. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got that greater sense of why, which I can hear that in all of your answers, you know, and it's deep rooted. Anything that you do, we can see your passion come through. So obviously, like everything that you're telling us is really connected to that. So, and
this is the whole thing of, you know, change by choice. And you hear some amazing stories of the most successful people overcome great adversity and difficulty in their life. You read their bio, you watch their movies, and you're thinking about, oh my gosh, this person overcame so much. But then you'll see that the one common thread that most of them have is they didn't have another choice.
Yeah.
They had one choice, and that was to overcome that adversity or that struggle or not. So it's like you go up or you go down, and they chose to go up. Yeah. So you know, in life, if you looked at that and said, there's no in between, I'm going to make a choice to go up.
Yeah.
And if I don't really commit and overcome what needs to be done, then I'm just going to go down. And sometimes it's hard to face that, but when you do, you're stronger for it. Just like those heroes that you hear about.
100%. I mean, part of like growing is sitting in that uncomfortable, vulnerable zone. And a lot of people, we've been programmed to think that when something feels bad, we need to avoid it. We need to push it away. Our own defense mechanisms, you know, just really like take the best learnings away from us, you know, and redefining what those feelings like look and feel like, and just being able to sit in them and then making choices while you're in them, you know, of what do you want. Yeah. You know, I say like sprinkle in a little courage and some action, and that's where your growth actually happens. But if you're avoiding actually feeling what you have to feel, you're never going to grow in the situation in the first place. So, so obviously you allowed yourself those times to feel what you had to feel, to face what needed to be faced, and to ask yourself some pretty strong questions like, that's not the road that I want to go down, you know? And that's great, you know? So obviously, again, like one of those key ingredients as you're listening to this is in that perseverance piece. So why don't you bring us now through other potential adversities that you had to face. So it's not like you just had that one learning and then all of a sudden, things were like all clear and easy. So is there something else that you went through along your journey that really brought you to a place of like, I feel like quitting right now? This is it. This is too hard. I'm totally taking back everything that I said from the beginning.
It's one thing. I mean, there's been a lot of, you're asking after childhood, kind of getting into my young professional career, right? Like what were some of those challenges? And I think that some of the greatest obstacles that I faced was having the knowledge to pursue what I wanted to and to get to the places that I wanted to get to. And the thing is I went deep into a study of science, physiology, sports performance as a young professional in college and things. And I dug deep. I became really well knowledgeable in those areas. But when I started to become more aware of what I wanted to create in my life for a career, I realized I had to learn other tools and other skills. It wasn't just about one category. I needed to learn business. I needed to learn marketing. I needed to learn about social media. So there was so much that I needed to learn, and the knowledge piece was what I had to really overcome. And it was just about committing. It was saying, okay, I got no idea how to do that, but I'm going to learn. I don't have any marketing education. I'm going to learn. I'm going to start digging in. This is the only way that I get better. And I feel like when we don't make the choice to expand our knowledge base on exactly what it is we need to learn in order to grow in the direction we want to go, we'll cap ourselves.
Yeah.
We will become the bottleneck of our own growth. So whether it's someone who is just like, I really want to be a healthier individual and my goal is to really have a healthy lifestyle, you have to learn more about health. You have to understand it. You don't have to go to school for 5 years to understand things anymore. You can get anything you want from a credible source on Google, on the internet. You can listen to podcasts. You can buy books. You can do your own research now. That's what I did in business and marketing. So, people that give these excuses, well, you're a fitness professional. You know how to take care of your body. I go, well, yeah, but I wasn't a marketing professional. I wasn't a business expert. I didn't get my MBA, but I built a successful business because I taught myself what I needed to learn. And sometimes we overwhelm ourselves with thinking we got to know the whole category, but we don't. We just got to learn the tools that are going to help us move forward. So, I tell anybody who is struggling with growth in whatever category they want to, if it's fitness, if it's business, if it's personal development, if it's courage, if it's, physical strength, it's like, hey, figure out what it is you need to know more about and learn it. And you're going to grow and you're going to get there because, that investment is what matters.
100%. And that's the thing. I think sometimes people get to a place where it's like, well, I went and got my schooling. I should know what I need to know now. I should be set up with the skills to be able to move forward. And then it's a harsh reality when you're like, okay, now I have to apply it. And when you're dealing with people, and the majority of our businesses do, it's not this just read something in a book and be able to apply it. Like the actual business of people and relationships and communication and that type of personal development, that is hard personal development.
Oh, yeah.
It does not feel good and it's messy sometimes.
Yeah.
And you have to persevere, and there's lots of failing there, and again, it ends up being this obstacle where people just leave a ceiling so tight right above their heads instead of pushing through and learning what they need to learn and allowing them to be in a very vulnerable space. I know for myself, finding the right mentors and the right people around me was one of my recipes for success. I think it's something that I'm strong at. I love people. I love networking. I love connection. So I know that's not natural to every person out there. But who would you say in the last, 3 years have been like your mentors? People that you have really helped guide you in the areas that you've needed?
I can say right off the top of my head, my husband, Vito Lafata, and Brendan Burchard, who is, the leader of High Performance Academy and High Performance Mindset. Vito introduced me to him, and that's why I've grown so much in that area. But I think Vito was the first person who really took me out of the rah-rah mentality of growth. I always had a rah-rah mentality, like I will work hard, I will fight my way tooth and grind, and I will get there, I will go somewhere, no matter what I have to do. But when I met Vito really started to help me with self-awareness and understanding the direction I wanted to go had to align with the things I was putting into place. So being self-aware of what it is you do with your time, how you're investing in your education. Like I just said, just starting to read books that I actually needed to use in my life to get me to where I wanted to go. That self-awareness isn't selfish. I think a lot of people are like, oh, if you're really just thinking about, okay, what you want to create a career and a daily agenda that fits your lifestyle of your dreams, something that you'd feel enthusiastic about. That's not selfish. That's being able to dream like you have that ability. Everyone has the freedom to dream about their ideal lifestyle. The ones that aren't dreaming about it and not putting it even in the picture are going to miss building blocks that could help them get closer. Maybe you'll never reach it, but you're never going to get closer to it if you don't have a clear understanding of what it is that you want, how you want to live your daily life, the people that you want in it, and the way you want to feel. So Vito really did that on a daily basis, and he coached me on that. Every time I talked to him, well, is that something that's going to help you move towards your dreams? Oh, is that something that's going to, do this and that? And it was great. That role model was amazing for me, because then I started directioning the things I was putting into place, putting them in the direction of the dream lifestyle I wanted to create for myself. And, when he introduced me to Brendan, I would say at that point in my life, I was a pretty positive and, I guess, upbeat person in person. But behind the scenes, I feel like every woman has a Jekyll and Hyde, okay? There's the girl everybody sees, and then the girl that nobody sees but you.
Yeah.
And I had that girl in two different places. The girl you saw was the host of POPSUGAR Fitness. She was working as a fitness director. She was teaching classes. She had private clients. She was building a business. She was drained. She didn't have much energy, but she never showed it. She wanted everyone to think that she had everything under control. She was moving in the right direction. She was happy and joyous. But when I went home, I felt tired. I felt like I was struggling. I would get depressed. I would journal. I would cry. I would feel as though I needed to release so much emotion. And I did it on my own, but I was sick of going through those ups and downs. I was sick of being up here and then down here and up here and then down here. And Brendan Burchard taught me principles in my life as a high performer to say, we need to create some sustainability of joy. We need to create sustainability of our confidence and of our happiness. And when I started to learn the tools that would build me up from within, inside of me, I needed to help the girl that only I saw. I needed to be happy with her. I needed her to be energized and joyous and full of life when nobody was watching. And that's what I learned from him. That's what I try to teach in my programs, because you can smile at me. You can post an Instagram picture that looks beautiful. You can comment on something that you're working really hard for. But is that who you are when no one's watching? I want you to have that. I want her, the only one that you see, I want her to be the strongest ever. I want her to be stronger than the girl that people actually see. And that's how I feel now.
Wow.
I feel like I'm the strongest I've ever been. And you might not even ever see that girl because you can't feel her. I feel her.
Mm-hmm.
And so those two mentors in my life changed my whole life.
Wow. I agree, because obviously
you have very similar mentors in your life.
But you know what?
Lucky us.
Two things, and this is just a side note, that, anyone listening out there, like attracts like. The people that you have around you will open up doors that you can't even see possible. So when we talk about stuff like, be mindful of who you have in your circle. Be mindful of where your time and energy are going, because that ends up being the sum of who you are and how you feel about yourself. And I always say, You know, every choice that we make is a reflection of our true, that girl that Anna talked about, that person's self-worth, not the shiny person that we put out on the outside to make, you know, show that everything's all nice and pretty and perfect and, you know, all sparkly. The person who, when you're alone, that person. And so a little reflection for you guys out there right now, you know, to journal and to think, what does your person, how do you feel when no one's watching? Is it a true reflection of what you show versus how you're actually feeling on the inside? And maybe it's time to start bridging that gap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this, you know, when we start to develop out a brand, you know, it's funny because it usually ends up being something that's connected to a problem that we had, you know what I mean? That we're solving for ourselves. And then through it, you know, it ends up being our greatest purpose, our greatest why and mission to help other people who are facing those very similar struggles. And so, you know, obviously you really talked to us about that person behind closed doors, of how you felt and the struggles that you faced. And now you have this amazing brand that you built called The Sexy Confident Life. And now you're helping
which was what I was trying to build myself.
I love it. But talk to us about the why and that connection, and why, like, you know, when things get tough, you know, what makes you push through? With your brand specifically, I mean.
Well, you know, as I was building my brand, there were so many different directions I went. Gosh, I invested in a kids fitness company. I invested in a bridal fitness company. I started those two companies and they just didn't end up being what I was passionate about. Really wasn't passionate about just working with brides. Come on. I mean, I wasn't even too googly about my own wedding. I enjoyed the day, but you know, it wasn't like my passion. And you really do have to be passionate about what is the work you're doing every day. What's the content you're creating? Because if you don't get excited about your content, you're not going to want to get up and work every day as an entrepreneur. You're going to be like, oh, this blog, I got to write this. This is torture. And that's what it was for me when I was really trying to build a kids fitness company or a bridal fitness company. And then I got into more of the Sexy Confident Life brand. And every time, you know, I'd have to face a project, or I'd have to create a video, or I'd have to write a huge script for, you know, some sales copy, or I'd have to build out my program, which took me a year for the Sexy Confident Woman formula. I just kept tying it back to what you said. It's just like, when you have a mission and you hold it in the highest regard, if you are so passionate about making that mission come true, and mine is to create a movement of women that want to go out and live their greatest life. I want to build a huge tribe of women that are on that same movement. And I'm getting people now, just little by little, who are saying, you've changed my life with this program. You've opened my eyes. You've turned my perspective around. Just hearing those things, even more so, lifts me up and fuels my ambition for this movement and this mission that I have in developing this brand and getting it out there. So no matter what comes my way, there's absolutely nothing that could stop me at this point, you know. And when something doesn't go your way, you just, guess what? You get up, you keep moving forward, you fix things, you turn things around, you look for support from whoever you need it the most, and you just keep going. And I know there's a lot of people that sometimes feel like giving up on a business plan, or they feel like giving up on their fitness journey, or they feel like, you know, turning the cheek to a relationship that they're just not going to deal with and they don't want to handle it. And what I have to say is, you don't feel strong enough about your mission and purpose for doing what you're doing, and you should. So maybe it's the wrong thing, and that's what you need to figure out. Or maybe it's the right thing, but you're not thinking about it on a deeper level. You haven't dove in and said, why does this really matter to me? You know, why does my fitness really matter to me? What does my health mean in my life? Does it mean that I just have vanity and I look good in front of the mirror? Does it mean I have more energy to go out and pursue my dreams and my business, or win that, you know, 5K that I want to race, or whatever it is? So it is just tied to the mission. And that way you can overcome any hurdle that comes your way.
So powerful. And really, I think you hit it there, just in terms of like what, you know, when people start to kind of fizzle out and things start to get hard, you know, it's that deeper why and that mission that pushes us through, you know. And that really is, that's what it looks like. There's not one single book that I've read about somebody's success story that is like, oh, I was given success, amazing, shut the book, done. You know what I mean? It looks like crazy, insane, hard work with obstacles and tribulations. It's not this like silver spoon process of like, I was given a company and I'm like perfect at it, you know? It really, we're challenged, but we're meant to be challenged because again, it's not worth having if it doesn't like require some work. The pride that we get comes from like the perseverance that we push through, you know? So
absolutely.
So it's just, yeah, that's the journey piece. I think sometimes we want to, you know, push through what looks like the hard work, but that's really where we learn the most about ourselves.
Yes.
Being present to that process and just honoring it and having gratitude for it. And we talk a lot about gratitude because it really is what keeps us in a very positive, forward-driven mind space. And you're right, forward is forward. Even if it's like half a step, it's better than going 5 steps backwards. Do you know what I mean? And so it's just continuing to push through smart, strategic ways, you know, not just push through just because, but like, what does that next move need? You know, what does it need to look like? How do we need to course correct? Who do I need that maybe I need support from that I don't have in my life right now? And searching out the key pieces to help us move forward because they're out there. And people, I truly believe people are giving human beings and want to help other people succeed. Maybe not everybody, but when you're in that frame and that's what you're giving, you're likely going to attract those same types of human beings. Yeah, it's just.
And you know, a lot of people can choose how they want to enjoy their life experience.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, you know, if you're working hard towards something, and all you're doing is thinking about the end result, and you're only thinking about that final destination of that place you're going to get to, you miss enjoying the experience of your life. And I'm reading a book right now by that Russian author, the book Flow. And it is, I have such a trouble pronouncing his name, but you can leave it in the notes for anyone listening to this. But he said that, you know, it is a mix of challenge and skill. And that's where you find true pleasure and happiness. More so, he says, enjoyment in what you're doing. Because if you're challenging yourself too much for the amount of skill that you have, it's going to be unenjoyable because you're going to feel like you just can't get anywhere. You can't reach it. You're never going to find it. And that's what you do when you put this dream so far away and you want to be there like tomorrow. And that's all you're thinking about is I want to get to that end destination. But what you have to do is develop skill along the way. So as you want to set challenges for yourself, you have to develop the skill to meet that challenge and get into a state of enjoyment of what you're doing. Experience your life in a way that you enjoy it. So yes, when I have to learn marketing and business, or, you know, when I had to go out and do video and I felt nervous and I wasn't sure, I knew I wanted to do it, but my skills were so at the low end of video skill and hosting and all that, I was terrified. But I met the challenge by improving my skills, practicing, developing the confidence to just get out there and do it. And then as I got better, I was enjoying it. It wasn't easy.
No.
But I kept on practicing and going for it. So bottom line is don't put your challenges too far out of your skill zone, but create shorter challenges where you can develop skills to meet those challenges and to continue enjoying the process, because that is your life in essence, is the process.
So good.
Yeah.
Process.
And that book, that's coming from that book is what.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to start kind of wrapping up the process here, but what's one thing that you would say to young Anna?
Wow. What would I say to young Anna? I would tell her to just keep working. I think young Anna was a driven, motivated, ambitious young lady who questioned whether her hard work would be worth it. Because I remember as a young girl, I used to journal. I used to let my emotions out on paper in my comfort of my own bedroom. And I am blessed that I got some space when I was one of 6. But I always questioned, why me? What's this all worth? Why was I given this life? Where is this going to go? Is all my work going to be worth it? Is trying hard in school going to be worth it? Is getting these part-time jobs to make money going to be worth it? Is putting myself through college going to be worth it? And I would tell her yes. You know, because when you're young, you don't really know why all of this is happening and what the effort is for. And you're really, at some points, not enjoying the experience. but that's all a part of your character and your growth. And so I would tell myself, just keep it up. It is worth it.
Awesome. It is. How far you've come.
So you know, it's been a great journey.
It's been a great journey. So how can viewers reach you? How can they find you?
Well, I really love connecting with people on my Facebook page, and my website is always packed with great blogs and information. I give away some really great free gifts on annarenderer.com. So you can go and download one of my free gifts, and you can also visit me on Facebook, Anna Renderer Fitness. I would love to see you there and connect with you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Charlotte.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
So amazing. And I get to see you in a couple days.
Yay!
So yeah, thank you again. And, you know, in wrapping up, just letting people know that I'm going to be doing more interviews along the way. So do stay tuned. And I'm also going to mix it up with my own individual podcast as well. Always under the umbrella of high performance topics, how to create strong mindset in life. So, you know, please, you know, you can always reach me on my Facebook page as well, or on my website, charlottefro.com. I'd love to hear topics that you'd love, that maybe you struggle with, that you would love a little insight on, and that could help me in terms of who I'm going to bring on in terms of interviewing somebody new. But I do have a great list that I'll be going through as well, and very excited. And thank you all for all the support that I've gotten so far. And thanks again, Anna. It really means a lot. And yeah, I hope everybody gets some fantastic nuggets from the call today. So listen to it again, write that shit down, and yeah, and start to apply it. It's not just like listen here and then it just goes away. It's like just take one thing and apply it, and then just take another thing and apply it, and that's how you will start to grow. So hope everyone has an amazing day. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.